Ah yes, you've survived sexual assault. Welcome to the 1 in 5 Club. Membership can be pretty taxing, so be sure to listen carefully. First, please note that your life will never be the same. Yes, gone are those carefree days of trusting your fellow human. In fact, you may notice that for some time after the incident, you feel nothing at all. It's a rather nasty numbing effect. At times, people will speak directly to you, but you won't register what they're saying. That experience may sound something like this. Not to fear, that numbing, or disassociation, might wear off. It's a common symptom of PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. You should know that rape survivors are 6 times more likely to have PTSD than other members of the population. In fact, more rape survivors suffer from PTSD than soldiers. PTSD explains those moments of crippling flashbacks in the middle of your otherwise unremarkable day. But look at you, you handled it like a champ. Very brave. Now, let's take a look at what a year after the assault is like. Look at that. Those flashbacks have decreased already, and you're out in the world with a smile on your face. Good for you. I know that weird smell in the coffee shop brought you right back to the smell on his coat and left you in a state of panic that must have seemed most bizarre to the gentleman behind you in line. But remember, you're a survivor. This is your life now. And sure, that coworker doesn't think twice about what he did to you, and sure, his life is carried on, but that is of no concern to you anymore. Now it's time for you to move on. But don't be one of those survivors that hits the booze or the heroin. You should be aware that rape survivors are 10 times more likely to turn to hard drugs than those who have not been raped. And here's a little tidbit for you. 13% of women who are sexually assaulted attempt suicide afterwards. So good to see you're still here. Did you know that sexual assault costs the US $127 billion annually? Think about how many things survivors develop. PTSD, depression, chronic illness associated with prolonged stress. And of course, the cost of all that litigation to let those rapists off the hook. Only 1 in 20 are actually sentenced to prison anyway. Aww. Now, you may have noticed that your ability to trust someone in a relationship or to have consensual sex has been impaired. This is not a huge deal. After all, who needs to get attached anyway? I suggest rehearsing your speech for future lovers now. In fact, why don't you go ahead and prepare yourself for the long haul? You never know when you'll be subjected to a national leader who says,
"Grab him by the pussy."
And it'll awaken something deep inside of you. It'll set off that awful feeling of his hand touching you right in the... well, where you'd rather he hadn't. You'll struggle, you'll have a nightmare, you'll decide to stay in that day, and then you'll wake up the next day frustrated. But it'll be okay. Remember this. Life is what you make it, dear. You may be feeling a little bit bummed right about now, but remember, it's not you, it's them.